So yeah, I've got 5 o'clock as well. So with that, I will call our April 12th meeting of the Utilities Service Board to order. And first item is the approval of the minutes from our previous meeting of March 29th. Are there any questions or concerns about the minutes? No? All right, seeing none. Is there a motion to approve our meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second.
All right, and Latrina, please call the roll.
Kapler,
Yes?
Parmenter,
Yes.
Eman,
Yes.
Burnham,
Yes.
Sherman,
Yes.
and Roberts.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item is approval of the claims. First is standard invoices in the amount of $3,827,817.69. Are there any questions about standard invoices? All right, seeing none. Is there a motion to approve the invoice?
So moved.
Second.
All right, and Latrina, please call the roll.
Parmenter,
Yes.
Eman,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Burnham,
Yes.
Bannock,
Yes.
Kapler,
Yes.
Sherman.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next are utility bills in the amount of $127,934.96. Are there any questions on utility bills? All right, seeing none, then is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All right, and Latrina?
Kapler,
Yes.
Sherman,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Burnham,
Yes.
Bannock,
Yes.
Eman,
Yes.
Parmenter.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, next are wire transfers in the amount of $475,713.65. Are there any questions or concerns about wire transfers? All right, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
And Latrina?
Bannock,
Yes.
Eman,
Yes.
Sherman,
Yes.
Burnham,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Parmenter,
Yes.
Kapler.
Yes. Okay, last item under claims is the customer refunds in the amount of $207.05. Any questions on refunds? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
And Latrina, please call the roll.
Sherman,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Bannock,
Yes.
Burnham,
Yes.
Parmenter,
Yes.
Kapler,
Yes.
Eman.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next is the approval of the consent agenda. And for that, I will turn it over to Vic Kelson. Oh, you're muted, Vic.
Doggone it, I do that every time. Good evening, everyone. I'm happy to bring the consent agenda. Tonight we have only one item, and there's a typo. It's SSW Enterprises LLC for $4,546.50. This is the first amendment for an additional 3 months of electrostatic cleaning services. This is building cleaning related to the COVID pandemic. If there is no opposition, this item will be approved as recommended by staff. Hearing no opposition, the item is approved. Thank you.
Thank you, Vic. Now we have the request for approval of an agreement with KMP Hydrant Services LLC for fire hydrant maintenance and capacity testing program. Nancy Axum is going to tell us about this. Nancy?
Hi, it's Nancy Axum with Utilities Engineering. This is a yearly maintenance and capacity testing we're required to do on all of our fire hydrants in our system. We sent out for 3 quotes and received 3 back. And the winning quote was KMP Hydrants. So does anyone have any questions?
Are there any questions from the board? All right. Oh, I see Megan Parmenter.
Thank you. So, Nancy, since we do this every year, is there a benefit to maybe having a more long-term contract rather than just year by year?
Well, the current contract will state that we have the option to extend the contract for 2 additional years, so long as each party agrees that there are no changes to the language in this contract. So we have done them for longer periods of time in the past, but these are on a yearly basis and easy to extend.
Thank you.
All right. And Jim.
Yeah, thank you. How many hydrants do we have?
Approximately 3,100.
It's a big number.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the board? Okay, then is there a motion to approve this agreement?
So moved.
Second.
All right, and Latrina, please call the roll.
Bannick?
I think you said Bannock. If so, yes.
Yes, thank you. Parmenter?
Yes.
Kepler?
Yes.
Burnham?
Yes.
Eman?
Yes.
Sherman?
Yes.
Roberts?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next we have, and thank you, Nancy. Next we have review and adopt a policy on conflicts of interest related to our new deputy mayor. And Chris Wheeler, will you tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah, good evening. This is Chris Wheeler, City Legal. And just briefly, the newly appointed Deputy Mayor, Donald Griffin Jr., has a real estate business in town that's an ongoing business concern of his that he owns. And he wanted to take measures to ensure that as boards are doing their business and as they're approving contracts and as departments are doing their business, that we avoid any conflict that might arise as a result of his real estate business. In other words, CBU and the USB should not be entering into contracts with his real estate business. And basically the policy that's been put forth by this conflict of interest document says those things. It's very rare that we get involved with the transaction of the purchase of real estate in a way that would even require a real estate agency of his company's type. Generally speaking, when the CBU is involved with real estate transactions, it's more in the form of doing eminent domain. And the procedures are different when we're dealing with those types of purchases of real estate, and we don't use real estate agencies. So the likelihood that we would ever come into any issue with regards to this conflict of interest is very small. And yet, I can say that there could be some times on the horizon where we might find ourselves in a position to sell some real estate and might need somebody or some company to assist us in that kind of a sale. But when we do sales as a utility, we have to follow specific statutory protocol, which still might keep us outside of a basic situation where we would run into Don Griffin's company. So that's a lot of chatter, but basically it is an effort to try and avoid any conflicts that we might find ourselves in with regards to his company. And I'm happy to try and answer questions.
Are there any questions from the board? No, I had just one. I wanted to clarify because I'm not quite sure I read it correctly. Does this also extend to individual board members of the entities included in this? So if I decided to sell our house and we wanted to find a new one, would I not be able to use Don Griffin's real estate company for that?
No, this policy is designed for the city and the board as a whole, acting as a board.
Okay.
Individual members doing private transactions are free to use whoever they feel comfortable using.
Okay. Thanks for that clarification. Any other questions from the board?
Yeah, well, I've been someone told me I was grumpy today, and maybe that's where this is coming from. But it seems like an awful lot of effort and probably an awful lot of man hours to put all these together when it would just be easier for it to be incumbent upon the mayor's office to take care of this and for Don Griffin just to excuse himself for any interactions with people like boards like us. So that's just a statement, not a question.
Okay. Thank you, Jeff. Anything else? Oh, Mr. Sims.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I hadn't seen you for a while, so good to be back.
Yeah.
And this is kind of in response to Jeff, and Mr. Wheeler can correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe the mayor's office has in fact adopted this conflict of interest, and particularly with like where RDC used to be, where Donna was the chair. But I also think, for an example, this board can do business without necessarily going through administration. So I think Mr. Wheeler is proper in doing it on more independent acting boards across the city. So I just thought I'd add that.
And
Chris,
I guess
Chris, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
I'll follow up on Council Member Sims' comments is that I certainly did not, this is not something I chose to do. It's something that the mayor's office wanted all boards across the city to review and adopt. And I'm simply being the spokesperson in this position for both the USB and CBU on behalf of the mayor's office to get this done.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments or questions? Okay, then is there a motion to adopt this policy on conflict of interest?
So moved.
Second.
All right, and Latrina, please call the roll.
Sherman,
Yes.
Eamon,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Bannock, Kepler,
Yes.
Burnham,
Yes.
Clementer.
Yes.
Okay, that is adopted. Thank you very much. Now, before
Thank
we
you.
move, thanks, Chris. Before we move on to the next item, I just want to let any members of the public that might be attending on our Facebook live stream or in our Zoom meeting that if you would like to make any public comment at the end of the meeting, you can put that in the chat on Zoom or as a comment on our Facebook live stream. All right, so is there any old business from the board? Any old business from staff?
There's none.
All right, any new business from the board? Any new business from staff?
There's none.
All right, I don't believe we had any subcommittee meetings to report on. And so staff reports, Vic.
Just a couple of things. The first is that we are still working on our submittal for the filing with the IURC for the water rate case that we're anticipating that will happen by the end of next week. So that's moving right along. The second thing is that we have a few new hires at CBU. The first is Bradley Burleson, who is the temporary part-time data specialist. He's working on a project to assist with implementing the asset management system for all the assets in the plants. So he's working with Jill Miner on that. The second is Hamid Matinka, I hope I got his name right, who is the temporary part-time MS4 specialist. He's assisting the MS4 program, replacing a previous incumbent in that position who's moved along. And then the last is Toby Axum in TND, has moved from being a line person to being the meter technician too. So those are our 3 new hires. We haven't had any retirements or anything like that. And that's really all I have to say tonight.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, Jim.
Yeah, Vic, have you received any feedback about the new metering system and the access to it? I think it's great. I think it's really helpful. I'm just wondering whether, you know, the ratepayers in the city have thanked you or thanked CBU.
I think some have. Not personally, nobody's thanked me personally, but that would be a good question for customer service or for Holly. But the people who've signed up for the customer portal have seemed happy with it so far, and we're happy to provide it.
Yeah, it might be a good idea to include in the bills that are made out, or even the ones that come electronically, a reminder that people can, you know, log on to their portal and look at their water use and all the good things you can do with it. It's fun.
Well, I'm glad you like it. So yes, we do have one customer who's told us how much he likes it.
Thanks, Vic. All right. So Holly, are there any comments on either Facebook or in our chat?
No questions or comments via Facebook or chat.
Okay. Well, then I believe we are at the end of our agenda. And is there a motion to adjourn our meeting?
So moved.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good
Good night.
evening. Bye.